Hey, this is B-Dub, and welcome to a new episode of Clearing Out My Head. Now, there's a bunch of sayings and advice that people keep repeating. Now, even though we all know them, they mostly ring hollow, or maybe they do work for you. BuzzFeed collected a list of common pieces of advice from a Reddit user who asked the community to share the sayings that we should stop following because they're outdated or we just know better. Now, here are a few. Number one user said, "Don't go to bed angry." Now, the idea that it can be better than arguing when you're tired and irritated, and maybe things will seem different in the morning. Now, I agree that sometimes you must sleep it off because if you're trying to end an argument at bedtime, sometimes it's going to make it a longer night than you want. Number two, one user said, "Never give up." Sometimes if something isn't working, you need to let go. Someone else said, "This advice kept me in a bad marriage far longer than I should have stayed." Now, I agree with the second person. If my first wife and I had ended it sooner, it probably would have been better off for both of us. Number three, one user said, "When there's a bully, just ignore them." Most bullies won't stop just because you ignore them. Sometimes the situation needs to be addressed. Nowadays this rings so true. Bullies are everywhere and they don't give up. They will continue to pound on you until you respond because that's what they want. Number four, one user said, "Don't be afraid to do what you love and the money will follow." This can be true, but it also could get you in a lot of trouble. It's possible to make money doing something you're passionate about, but you're still going to have to figure it out how. For most people, it doesn't just happen magically on its own. I couldn't agree more with the response to this one. Not to bring up another saying, but money doesn't always buy happiness, but it does help pay the bills. Number five, one user said, "Tough it out." Not always. Talk about it. Take breaks and think it over. Take care of yourself and then keep going, or you'll run yourself into the ground. Agreed, this is true. If you run yourself ragged, you will end up killing yourself, or at least getting yourself hurt. Number six, one user said, "Forgive and forget." Now this should be forgive but don't forget, because 9 out of 10 times, people's poor behavior is part of a pattern. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Someone else said, "As a kid, I strongly believed in forgiving, and I still think it's the moral high ground if you can, but I don't think you should always have to forgive. There are occasions when someone hurts you too much and has no remorse over it. Why forgive someone like that? If you can, I think you are admirable, but if you can't, I completely understand. You're only human after all." Now, truthfully, I have a hard time with this one because even when I think I can forgive people, especially ones from my past, it sometimes makes me bitter. I must learn not to get this way because those people did what they did, and it can be hard sometimes. Number seven, one user said, "Treat people how you want to be treated." Now, you'll be taken advantage of. Instead, I treat people the way they treat me. Again, I agree with this. I feel that you should treat people the way they treat you, because if you don't, people are just going to walk all over you. I have learned this the hard way over the years. Number eight, trust your gut. Now, the spirit of this one is empowering, but for people with anxiety and other issues, their gut may be working against more compelling data and support systems. One person said, "If it were up to my gut, I'd never do anything." I agree with what this person said. If I trusted my gut, I think I would stay at home 24/7, especially how people act in today's society. Number 9. One user said, "Stay for the kids, avoid a broken home." Honey, if your parents loathe each other, you not only see it, but you also feel it, you suffer from it, and you probably blame yourself. Stop fucking your kids up and admit you hate each other. You can be amazing co-parents and never see each other face to face. 2 stable homes are far happier than 1 in turmoil. Preach! I wish I had taken this advice about 5 years into my first marriage. Not that things would have been any easier now, but at least my kids wouldn't have to live with their parents fighting all the time. It wasn't fair for either one of them. Number 10. One user said, give 100% in everything. No, give enough to get it done at a decent level. The extra effort usually doesn't pay off. Someone else said, I like my current job, but if 80% is all I need to give to get the best results, then that's what I'm doing. I feel healthier knowing that there's another gear I can use if I have to. It's true, you shouldn't have to give 100% all the time, but don't be a slacker either. Like one user said, 80% is good. Number 11, one user said, when you grow up, you'll understand. Bruh, I'm 24 now and I don't understand shit. Someone else said, I'm almost 40 and the same. I understand just as much as I don't. Life doesn't make sense, nor does it need to. As the saying goes, accept the things you can't change and change the things you can if needed. Guys, I'm 50 and I'm still trying to figure it out. But that is what life is. It's a learning experience. It doesn't stop when you become an adult. You're going to have challenges that you will face. It's how you answer the challenges that you must understand more about what's going on. Number 12. One user said, if she says no, pursue her harder. Worst dating advice. I have no comment for this one because last time I checked, no means no. Number 13. One user said that blood, as in family, is enough to connect you with someone. I really don't feel close at all with most of my extended family. Now, my family is Mexican, so they put a high value on blood. They love me simply for being their blood and expect the same of me, but I don't. There is a big age gap, and I just don't connect with them. On the other hand, I am close with people I'm not blood related to, but love as if they were my siblings. Now, I think after reading this user's comments that maybe they are very young. As they said, there is a big age gap, and they aren't mature enough to understand the quality of family. Now, family is important to me, and I'm close to mine, but I think I've always been, even at a young age. I think I was taught that by my parents and grandparents. And that could be the difference here. Number 14. One user said, kill them with kindness. Sometimes people are jerks who step way over the line, and I have no problem calling them on it. I've dealt with enough bullies in my life to stand up to people who start drama on the regular. I appreciate the same candidness from my friends. Now, this kind of goes back to the ignoring bullies comments. Like this user said, people can be jerks, and trust me, there are plenty of them out there, but it's nice to put people in their place, sometimes even when they don't even know that you did. Number 15, one user said, fake it until you make it. No. Faking anything doesn't make anyone feel better. No, it does not. Do whatever you can to keep it real. Show people the real you without being what the user in the last saying said. Don't be a jerk. Number 16. One user said, find a job you love and you will never work a day in your life. Now this might work for 1% of people. It makes the rest of us feel like we're doing it all wrong. Another user said, I absolutely love my job, but it still wears me out and I'm happy to go home. While someone else said, the job I love is teaching, and whenever I hear this phrase, I just laugh and laugh. Now, it's not that you can't have a job that you love, it's that you have a job that you're passionate about, but in the same breath, you're still going to have to work at that job. It just may be more fun and less stressful. Number 17. One user said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Or it tears you apart and makes you an unrecognizable shell of yourself. The sad thing is that life can hurt you so bad that you won't be the same anymore. Now you can look at the saying in two ways. Yes, it can make you stronger and build you up for your next challenge, or it can break you down and make you, as the user put it, a shell of your former self. But it's all up to how you handle the situation. Number 18. One user said, it doesn't hurt to ask. Well, it can absolutely hurt to ask. It can be a sign that you have no respect or care for someone's position or situation, and that you may thoughtlessly be putting them in a situation where they need to tell you something you should already know. Now, I totally disagree with this because depending on the situation, it doesn't hurt to ask if you don't know how to do something. And if it's something that you're supposed to know, unless it's something that you do daily, I don't think there should be any problems asking again for clarification. Number 19. One user said, ask for forgiveness, not permission. So shockingly obvious how this could backfire in any number of personal or professional scenarios. Now, I agree you can ask for forgiveness, but don't be upset if it's not granted. Number 20. One user said, just be yourself. The spirit of this I agree with completely, but so many people think it means to act however they want without consequences. You still have to modulate your behavior in such a way that it is appropriate in any given social situation. Just being yourself means living in accordance with your own values and pursuing your own goals. It doesn't mean to be a dick and say every vile thing that pops into your head and then be indulgent when it's received badly. Now, agreed, people need to act correctly, but as we have learned in today's society, people feel entitled and that they are above everyone else. And finally, number 21. One user said, this may be an unpopular opinion, but you can't expect everyone to love you if you don't love yourself first. Now, I get it, but I think a lot of people say that because they don't want to deal with certain types of people. Listen, not everyone can be filled with self-love. It can take years to learn this. In fact, some people can interpret this as they shouldn't even attempt to find love because they don't love themselves, and I think this is so wrong. Someone else said it's in most people's lives, there are others who love them just as they are. In my opinion, that is proof that you are lovable to others even if you struggle to love yourself. And sometimes other people's love is what is needed to help you see that you can love yourself too. That's not to say that this advice is purely terrible, but it doesn't work for everyone. Just be smart about it. Now, I agree with both users' comments. I feel that sometimes self-love is overrated, but I don't think it's unimportant either. Even if you have people around you that love you for you, you should be able to love yourself as well. I think that will help you be a better person overall. Well, thanks for listening to this episode of Clearing Out My Head. Don't forget you can listen to Clear Out My Head on all major podcasting platforms. Also, you can check out my podcast page on Spotify where you can listen to past episodes. Check out my social media links or leave me a message. But until next time, this is B-Dub. Thanks for listening. And I hope you will join me next time as I continue with Clearing Out My Head.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!